Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2023 and the return of the Geeks and Noobs podcast. We took a holiday break after what was arguably our biggest podcast to date with the wonderful Ming Chen, and that was great. You guys really showed up for that as well, so thank you very much. But I am, of course, oh, look at that. He's got a Ming figure. That's awesome. I am SuperBeard Vince Hoover, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Kel McCosplay, and we are here to welcome you all to 2023 and everything geek. It's going to be what looks like a banger year. It also looks to be like 2023 has said, hey, 2022, hold my beer, because it's starting off awfully rough. But I want to put out something for anybody that watches our other podcast, Wrestling with Toxicity, or as part of the PWC, the Panda Wrestling Company. Monday night, actually, I stepped in for a fellow host who was ill himself and was at the hospital, and I did the Monday Night Raw watch along. But during that, of course, we found out about Buffalo Bills star defensive player Damar Hamlin having, after a routine hit, had a heart attack on the field. They did CPR for over 9 minutes on the field. They rushed him to the hospital. It was a very scary situation. We followed it very closely. I would like to say that today there was a lot of good news to come out. He has since woken up. He is responsive. They don't believe there's going to be any neurological damage. He seems to be fully intact neurologically. He is gripping the hands of his family. He is writing notes because he still has the tube down his throat, so he can't speak. But he's when he first got to the hospital, he required 100% assistance with breathing. He's now down to less than 50%, which is also good. One of the first things he said after waking up and realizing that he'd been gone for 2 days was, did we win the game? But Damar Hamlin, as we've all learned over the last few days, is a saint of a human being, not just an amazing athlete, but also just a wonderful, wonderful person. So thoughts and prayers out to him and a speedy recovery. Honestly, I know some people are asking if he may ever play football again. I don't care as long as he lives a full and healthy life from here on out. He's only 24 years old. So, but lots of good news today about that. So I did want to bring that up. But 2023 has really tried. Because, by the way, at the exact moment that he went down on the field and it started going out that he was out and the CPR started, the news was sent out via Twitter that rally car racer legend and a big part of like the Jackass films and that whole family, Kenny Block, passed away in a snowmobile accident. Oof. So it's just been a hell of a year. And on top of that, we had Jeremy Renner, the MCU's Hawkeye, got run over by a snowplow. He is doing relatively okay, but he's in really rough shape, and it was very touch and go. Thank God a doctor lived across the street, because that truly saved his life. The amount of blood he was losing, had the doctor not shown up when he did, even 1 minute later, there's a good chance he'd have died. So thoughts and prayers also out with the Block family, out with Jeremy Renner and his family while he recovers. 2023 is trying to be the shittiest year, but we're not going to let it be.
Yeah, I'm just cannot wait to get the 2020s over with. I'm over them so hard.
Yeah, it's just like, I remember 2019 being like, God, I can't wait for this year to be over. What a terrible year. It's been awful. Can't wait for 2020. And then 2020 happens and I go, oh, 2019 was a fucking breeze.
It was a
2019 was a great year.
Yes.
But you know what? 2020 is almost over. God, thank God. Let's get 2021 in here. And then 2021 happens and we have an insurrection and all this other shit goes down. It's like, oh, fuck. This year sucks too. Okay, it's almost over. Let's get to 2022. How much worse can it get? And then 2022 proceeds to take damn near everyone from us that we love. Starts really going to shit. Inflation to levels that we have never seen before. Just absolute insanity. And it's like, all right, let's get to 2023. And in 2023, here we are, 5 days into 2023, and I'm already like, is it December yet?
Yeah.
Because holy shit. Now, not to start off on a bummer, because like I said, we actually got some good news. Jeremy Renner is recovering. Damar Hamlin is recovering and recovering well. So that's great news. And we're going to take that positivity and that high and move through, because we are going to cover what's coming out in 2023, what things we want to see, what we're most excited for. But we're also going to look at what we've got coming up in 2023. what big things we want to do to help grow our channel and help grow our community. So that's what we're doing today. We're looking forward, and we're looking forward positively. So with that being said, 2023 is the start of, we'll start in Marvel. It's the easiest one to start with.
Yep.
And we start with the MCU Phase 5. Now, Phase 4 wrapped up with Black Panther and the holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
And while there's a lot of people out there that want to bitch and complain about Phase 4, honestly, I thought it was an amazing phase.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was actually very well constructed. I know a lot of dude bros had problems with it because Marvel is trying to diversify and be more open and represent everyone instead of just the straight white men. And I'm okay with that because it was done very well.
Yeah.
That being said, we're now moving into Phase 5, and this is where I think Phase 5 will be the... Phase 4 was kind of the foundation for the multiverse, what we've got to expect from that. Phase 5 is more the foundation of the villain and more the foundation of the stakes going into Phase 6. And to kick that off, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, I cannot wait.
And
That's
that's
going
just
to be so good. I
that's
think it's going to
just
be emotional as much as it's going to be like an action film.
yeah. In fact, we're just a little bit over a month away from its release. It's February 17th, which technically means February 16th because of Thursday. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Ant-Man franchise, but they have always been kind of the wacky sidebar to the MCU. However, now it's the exact opposite. And it's going to be an incredibly emotional, incredibly endearing, incredibly, arguably, probably painful. But while I'm sure we'll still get some of Paul Rudd's wackiness, it'll be a far more serious film, it seems.
Yeah.
Just from the trailers alone and what we can expect. And we're also getting Jonathan Majors fully as Kong the Conqueror for the first time.
Kong the Conqueror, Vince?
Did I really say it backwards?
Yes, you did.
Let's go ahead and clip that and save that for later. Jesus. Wow. But yeah, Kang the Conqueror.
There you go.
But the most recent rumors, which of course you know how we feel about those, we don't put a lot of weight in them, but I do think it's worth addressing, is that Kang will not necessarily be the villain of the film. He'll have nefarious motives, of course, but he will actually be working with Ant-Man because MODOK will be the villain of the film. And whatever he took from Kang, Ant-Man will help Kang get it back, not realizing that it's actually going to set up a much larger issue down the road.
Right.
I actually think I might, if that is true, I think I might be okay with that more than I was with the original thought of MODOK just working for Kang.
Yeah. And plus, you know, this is the first time I've heard that rumor, but it would make a lot more sense because if Kang can present himself at first as a ally to Scott to help him get back whatever MODOK has taken, and whatever this MacGuffin thing may be, it could be the way Kang gets out of the quantum realm and able to travel back through time.
Yeah.
To rewrite history in his favor. Or whatever it is. But that would make more sense.
Yeah, for sure. Also, like we know in the trailer, he talked about, are you one of the Avengers I killed before? So he doesn't necessarily portray himself as the most decent person, right?
Yeah. But also that line could also just be Marvel trolling us like they've done in the past too.
That is true too. But it could be one of those things where it's like, look, yeah, we've fought countless times, but yet here I am still stuck and realizing that I need your help. So it could be one of those, like, I'm going to play it up like I've realized the fault of my ways and I need your help. I don't need you as an enemy, when the reality is, I just need to use you to get what I need.
Yeah.
And so yeah, absolutely. Like it looks to be just, and again, it's also helping set up what is possibly the Young Avengers or just the New Avengers
Yeah.
with Cassie. It'll
And
be
plus,
interesting to see.
we've also had so many others
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
be. We just had Ironheart in Wakanda Forever.
And
We
her
also
series comes out this year. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
yeah, and then we had Kate Bishop in Hawkeye. Who else?
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel
You know,
and
she's not technically a part of the original Young Avengers team. It's very obvious you can make her part of it.
yeah, because she's just so
Um,
young.
yeah, well, she's also the most adept at it, kind of. You know, she is the biggest Avengers fan, that kind of thing. But we also got Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
I was about to bring that one up too.
And a lot of people thought, oh, he was just kind of in there as an Easter egg. But the fact that he's coming back for Captain America 4, Captain America New World Order, tells me that he will play a bigger part down the line.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for as well. We also have, you know, Wiccan and Speed, the twins
From WandaVision.
WandaVision. And again, with the multiverse, you have so many ways of bringing them in, and bringing them in old
Yeah.
enough to be a part of the team, kind of thing. And so there's definitely some building going on, and this would be the first one. But to follow that up, let me see here. So that's in February.
Yeah, because I'm still not 100% convinced that Scarlet Witch passed in at the end of Multiverse of Madness.
Well, from what I understand, that she's supposed to be coming back. Like it's already kind of been quasi announced by Marvel that she's coming back. So, but it could also be that other universe. It could be another universe Wanda. It could be the
Also
838
true.
one. That's, you never know about that either.
Yeah.
So following Ant-Man and the Wasp in the cinemas is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But there is a chance that before that, because it hasn't got an exact release date yet, but we have spring 2023, we have Secret Invasion. Now, it's more than likely going to come out probably like March or April, so it will come out before Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, Secret Invasion is also supposedly going to have a mature rating and not a PG rating or PG-13 rating. It's going to be much more of an espionage, very serious, probably little to no jokes in it. Very dark turn for the MCU. And this Secret Invasion, I think, is what's going to be the kind of attitude tipping point for the MCU moving into Phase 5 and Phase 6. Because if you remember the original ones, they were all fairly enough lighthearted pretty much through the first two phases. And it wasn't until Phase 3 that there was starting to be a shift.
Yeah.
A true shift going into Infinity War and Endgame. I think now we're going to see the shift earlier, and I think we're going to get a much more slower build. We didn't get a slow build in the first three phases because the first two phases, for the most part, weren't building to anything other than a connected universe.
Yeah.
It wasn't until towards the end of Phase 2 that they started building towards a big bad and a universal threat in Thanos. Now we know there's going to be some kind of threat overall. So now we can do a slow burn build towards that feeling. And Secret Invasion will be the first one to kind of give us that sense of dread, that sense of, oh, everything is not all right. There's a chance everything will not be okay. I'm just excited to see where Secret Invasion goes. Because it does seem to be that Skrulls will be the ones, seemingly like a faction of maybe evil or at least nefarious Skrulls.
Mm-hmm.
Because we still saw what's his name?
Uh,
Ben Mendelsohn.
yeah.
His character Tallow.
Talos. Is it Tallow or
It
Talos?
might be. I know it's spelled with an S. I'm not sure if the S is pronounced.
That's true. So
Talos.
His
I'll say Talos because tallow is actually something you use in cooking
yeah.
and for shaping things, which that's a little teaser for later. Um, breadcrumbs, literally and figuratively. Anyways, he is obviously, we've seen him in the trailer. He is fighting some other scrolls. So obviously it's going to be kind of a split faction kind of thing because that was one of the most interesting part about the Captain Marvel film was to see the scrolls actually end up being good people. Because
Yeah,
in the
that was such
comics,
a twist. They're never
in the
good.
in the comics, save a few exceptions to the rule, a couple characters that are an exception to the rule, Skrulls are just a downright evil race.
Mhm.
And so I think that by changing our perception of them in the MCU like that was very interesting. But it also, we had a feeling Secret Invasion was coming. And then it was kind of teased, and then it was fully officially announced. And we're like, well, wait, how do you do Secret Invasion when the Skrulls aren't the bad guys anymore? They made it more real. Because even on Earth, there is not one country or one race of people that is inherently evil. Everybody is good and bad. Like there is
Yeah.
gray areas everywhere across the world. Same goes for that. Like I would only say that in the MCU, it seems that the Kree are the only ones that seem just ineptly evil. But even then, we've only seen a small portion of them.
True.
And part of their problem comes from the fact that their race had been kind of wiped out in a galactic war. They were down to dwindling numbers. So it might have been almost out of necessity. That was what they talked about. The Skrulls had wiped them out. And, that was Ronan staying in both Guardians of the Galaxy and in Captain Marvel, how the Kree had been decimated throughout war. So their thing could have been survival based. And it went from survival based to a kind of almost accidental power trip, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So again, we don't know. There's not anything that's innately evil. Even the deviants and Eternals. When you hear more about, it turns out that maybe they weren't even evil. They were just going against what they were designed to do. And so it's this whole thing. And I think that that's actually brilliant on Marvel's part to do that, to allow more gray area. Because that's one of the things that made Marvel Comics so great, is that a lot of heroes lived in the gray. A lot of heroes had their faults. They had their flaws. None of them were perfect. And I think that's what makes them relatable.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Looking at the list. So, Secret Invasion should be very interesting. Also, Emilia Clarke in the MCU is always a plus. And then we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Again, another emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm going to bring a box of tears to that one because I know that I am not going to leave without crying my eyes out.
A box of tears? See, you did it too. Ha!
Box of tissues.
Ha!
Yeah.
I'm clipping that too.
Yes, you should.
I'm not the only one who fucks up words. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, no, a box of tissues for sure. It's going to be tier central, but again, a very a more emotional and, for lack of a better term, dark take. We know it's going to be brutal, and it's kind of the end of the Guardians for us. Like, I'm sure several of them will not. I mean, I don't expect them all to die. I'm 99.9% sure that Drax is gone. Basically, because like Batista's been doing tons of interviews lately talking about how he is absolutely done with Marvel.
Yeah, I read an article today saying he was so happy to be done with it because it said that the shift tone that Drax took in the last couple of things that he's done with it, he's just not been happy with it. So he's ready to go, and you shouldn't do a project if you're not happy with it anymore.
Exactly.
So more power to him. I'm going to be sad to see him go, but he's ready to move on to other projects, and I can't blame him.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, the whole thing's going to kind of, with the High Evolutionary, kind of revolve around Rocket, and that's been rumored for the longest time that he wasn't going to make it out either. So, we could be losing, those two. We don't know who else, but I mean, I'm pretty sure like Star Lord and Gamora and Nebula and like Mantis. I'm hoping just because we found we got so much more depth out of her
Yeah.
in that holiday special that it's because because I mean, not that she was one dimensional, but she was kind of one dimensional in
Yeah.
Volume 2, and then between Infinity War and Endgame, there was no time for her to develop further. She was just continuing on. But in that holiday special, we got so much growth, and then that whole revelation at the end of it. Um, so I'm hoping that she lives on, uh, and because I'd like to get more out of her. I think Palm Clemente is an absolutely amazing person too,
Yeah.
an amazing actress. So I'd like to see that as well.
Like I said, we finally got character development out of Mantis, and she's so interesting, especially now that the revelation has come out that she's Peter's sister. And I want more Mantis. I really do, and I hope that she makes it through this final film unscathed.
Absolutely, but like there's some belief online that Adam Warlock will become a bigger part of the rest of Phase 5 and 6 after
Mhm.
that movie. Which great. As long as the character is done correctly, I think he's an important character to Marvel and would be a great addition. I don't exactly know where you take him as far as a multiversal threat. It's like
Yeah,
because but
because I
then
thought
again,
that.
it's because he's such an anchor of the Infinity War
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so important to the Gauntlet storyline that I don't. He's not really done much outside of that in like he's been in the comics, forever now. But it you just don't. What you know him from is from Infinity War.
yeah. From the Infinity Gauntlet comic,
Yeah. So
and he was the main not protagonist
yeah,
in that comic. And then after that, he kept the Infinity Gauntlet for a long time and had his own comic line with him doing things with the Infinity Gauntlet. So it would be interesting to see how he handles a multiverse threat if Marvel decides to go that route with him.
yeah. I'm curious what they're gonna do with him as far as that goes and where he comes into play. Um. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
What else has Marvel got coming up this year? So we also have two more series that are supposed to be summer of 2023. However, one of them is in question. There seems to be some kind of holdup in filming it, and that's Echo. We can't get a lot of reports on it. Just there's some kind of issue behind the scenes of Echo. Something isn't right. There is rumors that it might get canceled. It might get turned into a special presentation. It They might just shelve it until after Daredevil Born Again. So Echo's kind of up in the air, which is a shame because I was really fascinated to see what they did with that character. Um, However, having a character that is deaf and mute as your lead character does obviously present some problems translating to the visual medium.
Mm.
So that could be part of it. I don't know. But the other series, which is kind of the exact opposite of that, where it's a deadlock, it's already done filming, um, as far as I know, and it's already in post production, and that's Loki season 2.
Oh,
Now, obviously, we realized that Loki, by the end of the Loki series, which is one of the best Disney series we got,
true.
it turned out to be far more important than we had imagined. When He Who Remains was revealed, and it gave the backstory on the Kangs and all of that, and how it ended with Loki appearing in a varied version of the TVA with Kang the Conqueror statues everywhere. So obviously, season 2 is going to play a massive part in all that's coming up. So I don't know what to expect. We haven't gotten any real footage from it except for there was one of those like Disney Plus what's coming in 2023 ads, and there was like a second and a half of footage from Loki season
Yeah.
2, very much like they did with Loki season 1. They did that what's coming, in Disney Plus, and then they had like just quick a few frames of Loki, and then of course at the end that line that wasn't even in the show. So again, like you said, there are times when
Yeah.
they pull fast ones on us. So yeah, I don't really know what to expect in this. Some behind the scenes stuff. It seems like Sylvie has gone into some random timeline in the 70s. She's working at like, it looks like a McDonald's or some equivalent. Kind of just living her life. It's like late 60s, early 70s. Kind of, I don't know if she doesn't remember who she is or she's just trying to avoid the TVA and just staying as low as possible. But she looks absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw that Mobius didn't recognize Loki, so he's going to have to like reestablish that friendship again.
Yeah. I thought it was very interesting seeing both Morbius and Loki in tuxedos in one scene.
Yeah,
So it's like kind of the name's Loki. The name's Bond, Loki Bond, or
yeah.
whatever.
So I don't know where it's going to go. It's
Yeah, it's
we haven't really even gotten a synopsis for it yet, which again I'm okay with. I
oh
think
yeah,
in this day and age with social media, Twitter, and everybody wanting to be an insider and all these rumors and all these dirt sheets and all this stuff coming out, we end up everything gets spoiled so quickly.
mm-hmm.
And I think that I made the comment back when No Way Home was coming out. Don't give me a trailer. And what happened as soon as the trailer came out? People piece it together and it ruined the. I mean, it was still kind of like the least kept secret of Toby and Andrew coming back, but the fact that the trailer, it showed the kicking of the lizard's face and all that,
Yeah,
and
and
the
nobody was
framing of
there.
it, and people were able to piece it together. I would have again preferred just never have gotten a trailer. There are some projects you kind of need a trailer. Um, I think Loki season 2 is one of those ones that you can talk about it and kind of market it, but without trailers. Put
Yeah,
out posters, maybe a synopsis here and there, but like keep it as vague as possible and just keep mentioning it, but don't put a trailer out.
yeah, no trailers. Let's go in blind and let's just be
Yeah,
astonished.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I would.
And so from there, with those summer series, we've got the day before my birthday, July 28th, we have the Marvels coming out. And this will be the last film of the year for Marvel because their next film isn't until May of the year after. But the Marvels will be Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau coming together. At the end of the Miss Marvel series, her bangle helped. Oh, I don't know if helped's the right word, but it caused Carol Danvers and Kamala Khan to switch places in the universe wherever she had been. So it's going to be a very interesting. I think there's actually a synopsis for that film, but I don't really want to go over it just yet because we got till July.
Yeah, no reason to
Yeah,
put stuff out there if people don't want to listen to
yeah,
it right now.
but the main thing is the fact that it's going to be the three of them coming together. Um, there's obviously some tension between Monica and Carol. We saw that in WandaVision
Yeah,
when Carol was brought up.
and I can't wait to see those two on screen together because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be really interesting to see. And then we're going to get Kamala back, which I thought Miss Marvel was a really good series.
Yeah,
And the actress that plays Kamala, she was just, you could tell she has waited her whole life to play that character.
yeah, absolutely. And she
And
was
she brought
amazing.
it because, she played the perfect fangirl without going full hyper fangirl
Exactly,
for
exactly.
for the Avengers and everything like that. It was her performance was just, mm. She should at least won an Emmy or something.
Yeah, I don't know like how
Definitely
straight.
not definitely not an Oscar, but some award.
Yeah, I don't know how the whole streaming thing works as far as Emmys and whatnot. It's been weird. I don't know how they
Yeah,
handle it,
yeah.
but they do something, I'm sure. Um, However, so with the Marvels will be The three of them somewhere out in the cosmos, because we know that Monica at the end of WandaVision went up into space to meet up with Fury. Um, I'm sure he'll probably help facilitate the reunion between Carol and Monica in a way. But then the fact that Monica gets pulled away suddenly, and this teenager just shows up in her place, it'll be very weird. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But the last series of the year, fall 2023, will be Ironheart. And I'd like to put it out there now. There is a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation out there that Robert Downey Jr. is returning as Tony Stark in that series. And I'd like to tell everybody that those rumors are unfounded and pretty much false. They're coming from accounts that are known for making stuff up. They throw 1,000 darts out there hoping to hit a bullseye at least once. And, so they cannot be trusted. So don't put a lot of weight into that. Yeah, don't put a lot of weight into it. If he does show up, great. But if he doesn't, don't let it ruin your experience, as we've seen over the last year, where people have their expectations of what they want to happen, and then when it doesn't happen, suddenly it's the worst show or the worst movie they've ever seen. And it's all because they built up something in their own heads and they didn't get what they wanted, as if it's designed specifically for them and them alone. So Ironheart, again, we don't know much of what's going to happen. It's still it's got almost a year to go before it's out. So at least it's like 8 or 9 months from now. So there's not a lot known about what it's going to be. Let's not put too much emphasis on what it could be, and let's wait to see what it is. Because I don't think we need anything pulling away from her. Because what was one of the complaints about Spider-Man Homecoming was that it was Spider-Man being a Tony Stark Jr. and Tony Stark kind of taking some of the spotlight there. As it turns out, what people need to realize is that those 3 films were one gigantic origin story for what is the real Spider-Man coming to us through the rest of the MCU.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like don't put too much emphasis on rumors. Don't put too much emphasis on what could be. Let's just wait and see how it plays out. But I'm excited for Ironheart. I really liked Riri Williams in Wakanda Forever. I thought she was a fantastic addition.
I wish we did get a little bit more of her.
I'm kind of glad we didn't. I think that just that taste of her and you wanting more sets up the series better.
Yeah. If
we'd have gotten too much, it might have been enough to been like, well, I don't need to see a series now. Let's learn more about her in her own series. Because it's fair. Because if you'd gotten more of her, then it's like, okay, just put her in other movies or put her in her own movie, not necessarily a series. So, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing we were supposed to get this year was an Armor Wars series, but now that has been shifted to getting its own film. And because it's been shifted to getting its own film, we don't have a release date. And there's actually a chance that Armor Wars could end up actually being outside of Phase 6. It could be part of Phase 7 and beyond. So we'll have to wait and see. But there's still opportunities for it to be part of Phase 5 or Phase 6. Because there's still open slots for those films. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But as of right now, that's what Marvel's got at least on the docket for us. For this year, which will be part of Phase 5. I believe Phase 6 starts with Deadpool 3 in November of 2024. I think Blade will be the last film of Phase 5 in September of 2024. So we'll have to wait and see on that. I said Phase 4. I think did I? No, I said Phase 5, 2024.
Yeah.
Too many numbers. But yeah. So, 2024 will also be kind of Phase 5 and where we got to go from that. And I know that certain things are going to be... We know that in 2024, we're going to get Daredevil Born Again, which is an 18-episode series. And so that's huge. Now, another series, which actually might come out this year. It's slated for winter 2023/2024. So it could either come out December or January or February of next year, which is why I didn't mention it at first. But that's Agatha Coven of Chaos. For some reason, this is a very contested series among fans. Like, they don't understand why we need it and whatnot. When, if you go back to look at all the WandaVision discourse, like, the love for that character was so astronomical, it'd be stupid for Marvel not to capitalize on that. So the fact that people are now bitching about getting that series, like, why are you bitching about that? It doesn't. And a lot of the things I've heard, they're like, well, why give this character a movie when we can give it to a whole other character? There's not a limited number of things that Marvel can do.
Yeah.
It isn't like they have to fill slots and this is all they have. They can still make something, a series or a movie about that character you want them to make it out of. This doesn't take away from that. This gives us just another building block to the supernatural side of things. Something that's been building up, and now kind of, if you look at the listings of what we have going on, it's going to take a backseat for a bit. We're getting into a more cosmic section of this set of phases, and we're moving away from the supernatural. So I think that series helps bring us back to that in a way. So I'm all for it. So
yeah,
I don't,
because we didn't get a whole lot of supernatural stuff in Phase 4. I mean, we got the first little taste of it was in Moon Knight.
Well, no, we got WandaVision.
Well, it's sort of, yeah.
That's the magic side of the mystical side of things.
Sure.
And then you got,
okay, so what?
Yeah, so WandaVision, maybe a touch of it in Loki, because Loki is magic based, but nah. That was still time Loki, multiverse stuff.
Yeah, time multiverse shenanigans, so I wouldn't count that. But yeah, we had it in Moon Knight, we had it in Werewolf by Night.
The very end of Eternals with the tease of Black Knight and Blade.
Yeah.
We saw, Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange had some supernatural stuff. That was kind of a mix between the supernatural and the multiversal cosmic stuff. But
especially
then we're gonna
with the end.
Yeah, but now we're getting into a dry spell.
Yeah.
On the metaphysical supernatural side of things. The mystical side of things. There's a bit of a dry spell until we get to either the end of Phase 5 or the beginning of Phase 6 with Blade. So that Agatha Coven of Chaos is a great drop-in to remind people that, oh, by the way, there's also this side of stuff. This isn't just another cosmic entity we have to fight. There's the metaphysical, mystical side of things going on as well. The multiverse is not just science and cosmic, it's also magic and mysticism. So I think it really does expand on that.
Yeah. Because I feel like if the main Marvel storyline continues the way it is, it's just going to be like epic space battle after epic space cosmic battle, because we had it with Thanos and the Infinity Stones, which are cosmic based things, and Thanos being an alien from Saturn's moon Titan and all that. And then we're getting Kang the Conqueror with multiverse and stuff like that. It's very cosmic, very sci-fi. So I would like to see a little more of, mysticism, and even get back to like the ground level stuff. Like we're going to get we're going to see in Daredevil and the newest upcoming Spider-Man film, whenever that's scheduled to get in production.
Yeah, which supposedly Tom Holland has signed a new contract here very recently for the next 3 films with Sony and Marvel.
Yeah.
By the way, I actually and this is a sidebar, but it is Spider-Man related. I actually punished myself the other day and watched Morbius on Netflix.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, what a terrible film that was. And it's bad. It's not bad because the acting's bad. Because the thing is, the acting's actually not bad in it. It's actually a decently acted film, but the script is bland. It's bland. And then things don't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's like mayo is too spicy, take it off the sandwich. Like it's that kind of bland. Like it is bland. And then that post credit scene makes no goddamn sense, and it takes you completely out of everything. Like I could have actually, if without that post credit scene, I could have been like, all right, it happened. Like it's right there in the vein with Venom. It
Yeah.
is what it is. They're not good films. They're not bad films though. It's just bland. Like it's kind of how I felt about Black Adam.
Yeah.
But Black Adam was more egregious to me because you had so many phenomenal characters that I love and have always wanted to see on the big screen, like Hawkman and Doctor Fate and Black Adam. And what we got was just kind of like watered down film.
I've heard a lot of people make comparison that Black Adam was like a 2000s Marvel movie.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even say that because at least like I think that X-Men 1 and 2 are really good films.
Well, yeah, I mean they are,
So like
but they put in like a realm of like the Fantastic Four and the Ben Affleck
okay,
Daredevil.
yeah. And that's the other thing. Like I went back and watched the Ben Affleck Daredevil, the director's cut, which I think is key. The director's cut, it's not as bad as I remember it being. Like it was like, oh, the director's cut, okay, I see where he was trying. This is where he was trying to go with it. And while yes, the playground fight scene is cheesy as fuck,
Yeah,
it's very early 2000s.
yeah,
Um, other than the fact that it's dated, it's actually not that bad of a film. I mean, it is one that I still like to make fun of because it's very easy. Because again, it's very dated. But yeah, it's not as bad as we originally as we think back. But again, it's also the director's cut, which is got more scenes in it, but also it's cut in a different way to where you're like, oh, okay, this is how the story was supposed to be told. Uh, that being said, Elektra is fucking horrible.
yeah.
Um,
Oh God.
Horrific film. But regardless, yeah, we're gonna get more street level stuff coming up. We're gonna get more mysticism coming up, and so I think that like Agatha is a good addition to that. And again, it doesn't take away from anything else going on. So that nails what Marvel's got coming up. Now, DC is going to be a much quicker discussion.
Yeah.
Because they only have 3 things coming out total. James Gunn is trying to clean house a bit. Granted, there's a brand new rumor out, and this has been, I think, covered even by Variety, that apparently that Warner Brothers is still looking to maybe work with Ezra Miller as the Flash because he's supposedly doing so well in his rehab. I don't see James Gunn being on board with that. Like, that doesn't make sense to me unless somebody over his head makes it a mandatory thing, in which case that would probably be a short-lived stint as him in charge of the Warner Brothers DC films, because I just don't see him working with him and putting him into
God, I
further
hope
projects.
not. I would lose so much respect for James Gunn if he did.
And there was this recent leak of like a TV teaser for the film, and it looks like dog shit, and that's very disappointing. Because before all that Ezra Miller shit went down, I was never a fan of him being the Flash, but I was still very much looking forward to this film and what it could potentially mean. I think Flashpoint is one of the greatest comic arcs of all time, regardless of brand. And I was looking forward to see where it could go, although I thought starting with Flashpoint as your first solo film seems very weird. But then again, look at like starting with Doomsday and starting with, like there's been so much, like they're starting way at the end of story. It's been weird from the get go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just so we do have the Flash movie still coming out this year. And I mean, I'm gonna go see it. It's not that I'm Ezra Miller's already been paid anyways. That isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, let's just be honest. We're going to see Keaton.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that is the only reason I'm going to go see it. So I can see my child.
Yeah, exactly. It's
The first man I ever saw portrayed as Batman, other than Adam West, return as Batman. I mean, that's how really I felt when the animated movies came out with Adam West's 66 Batman came out.
Yeah.
It was just so good to hear him and Burt Ward come back as the dynamic duo. And those animated films from DC are cheesy as hell, but they're enjoyable, just
Yeah,
like the
they're
original
yeah,
66
exactly.
series.
Yeah, they're spot on. Uh, I don't know what else to say about this though. Like, there's just so much about it, and I don't think there's a release date right
Oh, I
now.
haven't heard one either.
I'm trying to see if I can find one. It is supposed to come out this year. So apparently, James Gunn's plans for the DCU will not go into effect in the films themselves until 2024.
That makes a little sense.
Yeah, so they're just going to wrap up what they've already got done and then move on from there. Take what they want to keep and then move on from there. But I can't even find a release date for Flash, so I don't know if it comes out this year or not, but supposedly um, it's not actually on the list of the 3 movies coming out this year, so it may not even come out this year. I don't know. I really don't.
And the executives at Warner Brothers probably don't know either. Let's just be honest, because
Yeah, at
they've
this
had
point,
such a
they don't.
time dealing with the shit show that has been the Flash and Ezra Miller.
Yeah, I have no idea. But what we do have on the list is we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which will be the final Aquaman with Jason Momoa. He is rumored to be like we know that he's done as Aquaman. That has been made clear. He is rumored to be returning as Lobo,
The
which to
main
me
man.
that makes a lot more sense for him.
Oh, absolutely. I remember even before Jason Momoa was cast as Aquaman, every fan was saying Jason Momoa needs to be the Lobo.
Yeah, he is definitely.
And I mean, he's got the build, he's got the look. How could you
He's got the
not?
attitude, like he
Oh
can
yeah.
definitely play that. Yeah, I think he Lobo through and through. The other thing we got is Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and recently Zachary Levi has been he's been out there, fighting the good fight for James Gunn and telling people to stop with all the hate, and he has got a plan moving forward and how the stuff prior didn't really work because it just wasn't connected and he didn't have the right voice behind it, but now there's a real person with good credentials, great credentials, even especially in the comic world, somebody who actually loves the comics. And I'm not saying Zack Snyder didn't like the comics, but he obviously had his own interpretation of them, and he liked the characters, but not necessarily the stories.
Well, let's go ahead and say that Snyder didn't like the comics. I mean, I've, in interviews that I've read, he wanted to do a Batman, uh, what was it, the Dark Knight Return story forever.
Yeah, he's
But
into the much darker Elseworld story stuff, which James Gunn has talked about. He loves a lot of the Elseworld stories, and he wants to do them, but he wants to do them in a way that they're not connected.
yeah,
He wants to basically have an Elseworlds brand of films as well. But it seems that Zachary Levi is most likely going to stick around as Shazam, just from the way things have been going. And I guess it all does depend on how Fury of the Gods is done. But
yeah,
I know that I'm excited for that film.
mm-hmm.
I love the first Shazam film, and I
Yeah. It
think
was really
that
good. I'm not the biggest Shazam fan out there, but I enjoyed the film. I thought it was
I've been a big Shazam fan for since I was a little
the,
kid.
my only
And
critique of it is that they cast the wrong person as the villain in that film.
mm, I mean, anytime
Because
you have Mark Strong, I'm okay with it. But yeah, you're right. I think there could have been other ones.
yeah, there could have been somebody else. Because just look at his physique, look at his appearance. How do you not cast that man as a future Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
I mean, he had the right attitude in that film for Lex too.
Oh, for sure.
But just is what it is, I guess. As long as we don't get
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg back.
Yeah. Yeah. But we've got Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as the villains, and they're bringing more godly stuff into it with Calypso and forgot the other one's name, but yeah, it's gonna. I think this will be a fun film and almost a kind of palate cleanser for everything we've had.
Yeah.
I think the Flash will end up putting that taste back in our mouths, and we'll have
Yeah.
to work through that. But it is what it is. But the other film, and this one just recently had a test screening that was amazing. Apparently, just
Really?
rave reviews from this test screening was Blue Beetle,
Oh yeah. Now, is that gonna
and
is that have they are they gonna keep that as a series on HBO Max, or is it getting changed into a film?
I think it's going to get a theatrical release.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm
Okay.
think I'm trying to pull it up now. Yeah, now it's going to get a theatrical release August 18th.
Oh, of this year?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
I can tell you that the costume looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember seeing leaked photos of the costume, and it just
Yeah,
looks
just
gorgeous.
my god. Um, so I'm excited for that. It's like I was a fan of Blue Beetle back in the day when it was Ted Kord and like West Coast Avengers stuff. Not West Coast Avengers. Justice League International.
Yeah.
Which was their West Coast Avengers. It was a funnier series. It was a little bit more tongue in cheek, but still very good. And I think Blue Beetle. It was during that budding relationship between Ted Kord and Guy Gardner. Um, Very good stuff. But when the new Blue Beetle came out, I had kind of moved away from DC a bit in my comic book reading, so I didn't know much about the character. And like I've seen more of them between like Injustice and then between like the animated series and stuff and different things like that. And I think that costume wise they nail it. I think casting wise they did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for it. I think it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so hopefully it is good. And I'd like to see that character stick around as well. Because that's something else that DC needs to do is maybe move away from the Justice League a bit
Yeah.
and establish other characters. And because your big ones will always make money. Your Supermans, your Batmans, your Wonder Womans, they're going to make money. But maybe start building on some other characters and growing them. And so it's not the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, the same way Marvel's trying to do now with these C list characters they've been doing in Phase 4,
Yeah.
like Moon Knight and uh uh all the young Avengers that we're possibly getting
Yeah.
here in the future.
So that's it for DC. Um, and there's a bunch of other films though, like horror films and just like other films that are coming out that seem to be like 2023 is going to be a great year. I'm going to run through them kind of quickly here. One of the first ones is A Knock on the Cabin, the new M Night Shyamalan film. Dave Bautista's in it. Rupert Grint, who played Ron Weasley, is in it. Very interesting story. It seems like from the trailer. I don't even know quite how to explain it. Just go find the trailer and go watch it.
Yeah, that's the best thing that we can do because we couldn't.
As long as they stick to what they've got there, it's first off, it's arguably the best trailer for an M Night Shyamalan film ever.
I would 100% agree with that. Yes,
because it is so has me intrigued. Like all the other trailers have just been these kind of like slow, ominous things, and you were kind of just going solely based off his name.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the story truly does have me intrigued. So,
because he has not made really good films in the last 15 years, or even going on 20.
Well, no, I wouldn't. I don't necessarily believe it. I think Split was a very good one. I actually like Glass, but I understand people's issue with it.
Yeah. I did forget that Glass and Split were his movies. I mean, Glass was all right. Split was pretty good.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like down to like, what's that other movie that people thought was really good? I thought it was just dull. It didn't appeal to me. It was something in the water.
Oh, is it Lady in the Water?
Lady in the Water, something like that. I can't remember.
I can understand
I can understand why people liked it, but I didn't.
Yeah. There is a movie called Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, that got released a little while back, but
No, it's not been out yet.
oh, didn't it? I thought it
No,
was
it's
released.
no, it's not
Okay,
out yet.
because everybody was. I guess they're just going on the name.
It
Is the
will
reason why
actually.
I heard so much of.
Yeah, it's based on a true story. Um, it's actually kind of based on Pablo Escobar and an American black bear that overdosed on 34 kilos of stolen cocaine.
Yeah.
But in this one, because the bear in real life died the same day, but
Mm-hmm.
in the film, it's going to be more of like a horror kind of bloody rampage kind of thing. It also happens to be Ray Liotta's last film.
Yeah.
Interesting last piece to leave, but it should be one of those. And it's directed by Elizabeth Banks, so
Oh, really?
I want to see it. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
We've got Creed 3, which Jonathan
Okay.
Majors is also in, and my God, is he jacked as fuck in this
Oh
film?
yeah, he is. Oh, that movie looks so good. I mean, I have not
Yeah,
had a lot of interest in the Creed films. I've watched them; they're really good, but it just didn't strike a tone with me because it just really felt like they're just trying to bring Rocky back.
yeah. It felt well because like every story, kind of like the first two films, it's following the exact same Rocky
Formula as Rocky,
storyline, and I'm
yeah,
like, so that it does pull me out a little bit. But they are great films.
yeah.
But yeah. So
But
that
this one,
yeah, this one, whoo,
I mean, that trailer had me pumped when I saw it.
yeah, and again, Jonathan Majors, that dude,
Yeah,
holy crap, did he put 100% of himself into that? My
yeah,
God.
yes, he did. Jeez. So yeah,
Yeah,
I can't wait that we're gonna watch that. Yeah.
yeah. So, we've also got Scream 6 coming out. I don't know about this movie because it is the first Scream movie without Nev Campbell. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the Scream series overall is actually a good series.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
they're
even the worst film of them all, which is Scream 3, isn't bad. So, and Scream 5 was really good.
mhm.
I'm just worried about the fact that because we're not having Sydney, Sydney Prescott back, where it's going to go, but we'll see. There's this other one, and this one is coming. Is this coming to theaters? Yeah, it is. It's called 65, with Adam Driver, who is seemingly a futuristic intergalactic pilot. He crash lands on a strange planet. He soon discovers he's stranded actually on Earth, but it's Earth 65 million years ago in the world of dinosaurs. So
Interesting.
it looks fun, but it could fall under that cheesy category. So we'll see. But I think it's worth watching. And of course, one of the biggest non-comic book, but still a geeky ass film as far as I'm concerned. It has built up its own lore and its own universe and its own community. John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh,
My God,
cannot wait.
I am so excited. We've also got a series called, I think it's going to be called The Continental, revolving around the hotel, but Keanu Reeves will make appearances in it. So I'm excited for that as well. But this movie, I don't know if it ends here or if it's going to be like a chapter, like it'll be almost like a two-part deal. But it does, it's definitely building to crescendo. And I have to give so much credit to these people. Director Chad Stileski and all of them, and the stunt group turned film company that
Yes.
built these. John Wick was meant to be a standalone film just to show what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. It was a one and done. And it was so good and so popular, they had to build a universe around it. And they did such a good job doing that.
Amazing. I am so mad at myself that I didn't jump on the John Wick bandwagon earlier
Oh my
when it
God.
when it came out, but cannot wait.
I mean,
I may just go ahead and try to watch all three films tomorrow if I got the time.
I usually watch them at least once a month. I put them on. I just watch all three. In
Yeah.
fact, I might watch them tonight. Why not?
There you go.
But like building the like they because they gave you a little bit of lore in the first one, but it was more meant to be just this is how this lifestyle is. The
Yeah.
end.
But
But then to
what
build
they
on
gave us,
yeah
what they gave us was just like, I want to know more about what these people do.
Yeah, so they
It's
built
just
on the Continental. They built on it being an international thing. They built on the high table and serving under the table, and then they built even for like having to like redeem himself. The whole it's just my God, what a series!
and the fact that they did a good job expanding this world, even though they didn't plan on having such an expansive world.
That's what's impressive.
Or maybe they even did it like George Lucas style when he was making the original trilogy back in the 70s. You know,
Yeah,
he
maybe.
made the world and then he stuck to this story, but he built the world first.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know, but kudos, God bless him.
Another film, and this is obviously huge for geeks and whatnot, is the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
That one's going to be
Now,
interesting.
I have so many reservations about this film. There has never, ever been a good Dungeons and Dragons live action movie. The cast we have for this film is a decent cast. It's Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Hugh Grant. You know, it's a decent cast. But don't forget, we had John Malkovich, we had Jeremy Irons in a Dungeons and Dragons movie. We've had hellacious cast before in these movies, and they've not worked out.
Yeah.
And the trailer to me screams just like all the rest. So I'm worried.
Yeah.
That being said, I am still going to go see it, and I'm going to drop all expectations before going into the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried, but I will go in worry-free to see the film, so as not to taint my experience.
Exactly.
That
You
being
have to
said,
treat it. You have to treat it the same way that me and you went in to see No Way Home, not expecting to see Toby or Andrew.
Yeah. And of course, another massive film for us. And there's a lot of kind of hate over the voice actors, but Super Mario movie.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I think I get where people are coming from about voice actors, but I get where a studio comes from on a business side of wanting to have names that allow them to do it. I also don't think that Chris Pratt is doing that bad of a job.
No, I don't feel like
We're not
he
hearing
either.
much, and we could get the movie and be like, oh, he did a bad job.
Yeah.
Like we could get the whole movie. We've only seen a little bit of what he's had to say, but he's trying to put on a kind of almost nonchalant, like Bob Haskins in the Super Mario live action, but then dialed down. My concern is Luigi with Charlie Day.
Exactly.
That's my concern.
I mean, just a little bit we got in that full trailer was just like, oh, okay. Charlie, can you try, please? And he was just like, no, I'm just gonna be me. He pretty much just pulled a Seth Rogen and said, I'm just gonna do my own voice. Which that's another concern of mine, Seth Rogen being Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So because I'll admit it right here, right now, and people can hate me in the comments and what I absolutely hate. God, I can't even think of his name now. Shit. Seth Rogen. I hate him. I hate all of his movies.
Really, I like Seth Rogen.
I can't stand him. Not one bit.
I think The Night Before is one of the best Christmas movies ever made. It's him, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Anthony Mackie, and Michael Shannon, and Tracy Morgan as Santa. Phenomenal film. Love that movie. I am a Seth Rogen fan, but I also realize that he does tend to be kind of the same person. I also thought he was great in the Chipmunks movie, or the not the Chipmunks movie, the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie. That was a surprise of how good that was. That was so good. But yeah, I'm a Seth Rogen fan, I would say. But also, like, but I mean, don't forget, Seth Rogen also gave us Invincible. He gave us Preacher. Like, he's done a lot behind the scenes too that I appreciate. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Pineapple Express necessarily. There's a couple other stuff. I think he's better a lot of times supporting character.
Yeah, I mean, like in Fanboys, I thought he was great as that Tricky.
Yeah, like in SuperBad as the cop. I think he's great. Like again, he's one of the leads in The Night Before, but I think that cast alone is just amazing. I recommend everybody watch The Night Before. Again, it is one of the best Christmas movies ever, and I highly recommend it. Um, but just also in that film, Joseph Gordon-Levitt like steals the show, as he tends to do. Anthony Mackie's great. It's a phenomenal film. But there are times when Seth Rogen doesn't always work for me. He's not somebody who like everything he does is great, but like for the most part, he's good. Now there's an interesting film coming out. It's a Chris McKay film. It's starring Nicholas Hoult, Aquafina, Ben Schwartz, and none other than Nicolas Cage as Count Dracula. And it is called Renfield. And Nicholas Hoult plays Renfield, Dracula's assistant, but he's kind of realizing that like, oh, I don't want to be your assistant anymore. But we have Nicolas Cage as Count Dracula, and that alone is worth seeing.
I'm already gonna pre-order my tickets. Oh my god! Yeah.
But also, we're getting Ben Schwartz as a gangster named Teddy Lobo. I love Ben Schwartz. For those who don't know who Ben Schwartz is the one who, let me make sure I get this right. If it's who I'm thinking it is, yeah, that's what I thought. He's the voice of Sonic in the Sonic movies.
Oh, okay.
He's also a really funny guy. I think he does a lot of these great characters. So getting to see him as a gangster named Teddy Lobo, yeah, I'm excited. Should be good. Now, this is a film, I just saw the trailer for it yesterday. The Red Band trailer came out for this movie yesterday. I am super excited for it because I think it is arguably the greatest horror franchise in the history of cinema. Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah. Oh, they dropped the trailer for it?
Yes. Bruce Campbell shared it on Twitter. I would play it here, but there's a good chance that we would get banned on Twitch and probably demonetized on YouTube.
Yeah.
It is insane looking. Absolute Evil Dead insanity. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Yeah,
Evil Dead Rise.
After the podcast.
God. Yeah, it looks phenomenal. I don't even know how to describe it. It's directed by Lee Cronin, who was handpicked by Raimi to direct it. Raimi, Rob Tappert, and Bruce Campbell are all the producers on the film.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is not. It's not really a sequel to the Evil Dead trilogy or even Ash vs. Evil Dead, which, by the way, phenomenal series that was on Starz.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a standalone story, but it is the same Necronomicon. It's just kind of like, it's almost like building where it's going to go from here. Like, it won't have Ash in it. It won't have any characters we know from before. It's kind of just a new direction. But it looks really, really, really good. So I'm worried about that. So we've also got Fast 10 coming out. I don't care. I don't care. I'm so over the Fast and Furious series.
Yeah.
I'm so done. Now, well, I'll mention. Wait, is that this year? Why are these out of order? Oh, no, they're not. Okay, never mind. We've got The Little Mermaid, the live-action Little Mermaid movie coming out. I'm excited to see it. I don't think the controversy is warranted for any of it.
No.
But I'm also not going to discuss it.
Exactly.
It's because it's just people are stupid. Big film. We got Spider-Man Across the Universe, Part 1.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Spider-Verse. Sorry, yeah. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. The latest trailer for that looks absolute like insanity.
I know so many Spider cameos in that. Oh man.
Another film that's going to be a surprise release for me, because I didn't even hear about it till we saw the trailer, was Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Yeah. Oh, that looks really good.
Yeah, so that'll be June 9th in the summer, so I'm looking forward to that.
Let's put it this way: I have not been excited for a Transformers movie since the second one.
Yeah. So this one actually has a release date for Flash of June 16th, so maybe that's when it's coming out. Don't know.
Okay.
Let's see what else is coming out. Oh, another big one, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh yeah.
That looks really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they kind of course correct from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that. So we'll see how that goes. Another big one for me personally, something I'm a geek about, is the Mission Impossible franchise. We got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. We're going to see the biggest stunt in Hollywood history done in this film. But then they're going to overshadow it with the very next one in Part 2, because Tom Cruise has gotten approval to be the first civilian to ever spacewalk at the International Space Station. They're going to film at the actual International Space Station, and he is going to actually spacewalk, thus being the biggest stunt in history of all time, and probably will never be topped at that point.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you have to wonder: is Tom Cruise dedicated to making these big blockbuster films and doing his own stunts just so he can get the recognition for it, or is he really trying to kill himself?
I think it's a bit of both.
Eh.
But one of the things that makes me happy about this film, we're going to get one. I love this series, and I love the direction it's been going in ever since Christopher McQuarrie became part of it. But the newcomers to the franchise, we got Haley Atwell and Pom Klementieff coming to the series. So it's going to be good. And the fact that we're going to get, and this is the definitive ending, Part 1 and Part 2. So I'm really looking forward to that. For our Christopher Nolan fans, you got Oppenheimer coming out in July. That should be good. A movie I'm actually kind of excited to see is the Barbie film. It looks ridiculous in the best possible way.
Yeah, cheesy AF goodness.
Yeah. So I mean, and the cast is it's, I mean, let's be real here. Margot Robbie,
Right.
Ryan Gosling, Will Ferrell, Simu Liu, America Ferrera, Michael Cera, Isla Rae, Kingsley Ben-Adir, Rhea Perlman, and Kate McKinnon. I'm in. I love this first line. If you're not excited about Barbie, you probably don't have a soul, to be honest. Exactly. It looks ridiculous. And the trailer, by the way, the first trailer for the movie is a direct parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Brilliant. Just I could not be any more. And by the way, the director of this film. So again, it's kind of cheesy and it's out there and it's going to be a goofy movie, but it's, let me list you the last two films she's done. Little Women, the one that has Florence Pugh in it, the last Little Women that came out, and Lady Bird. Academy Award nominated Lady Bird. And she's directing the fucking Barbie movie. I cannot wait. We're going to do a whole episode on this, I'm sure of it. My God, I cannot wait. We've also got Disney coming out with a Haunted Mansion film. This is another one kind of flying under the radar. It's Rosario Dawson, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, which I'm not a fan of, but Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's in it, so that's going to be weird. But we got Danny DeVito and Jamie Lee Curtis. So there's a Gran Turismo film by Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah. I mean, I will watch anything that Rosario Dawson's in. Just love her to death. She's amazing. She cannot do a bad movie.
I have a wonderful experience of meeting her. So
You
my
lucky
first
bastard.
So my first New York Comic Con, we were doing our interviews and we got done with our interviews for, I can't even remember. It was an Apple Plus series or Apple TV series. I forgot which one. But we get out of there and Entertainment is doing a live interview with Rosario Dawson. So they tell us to stop walking because they don't want us to make any more noise, but they stop us pretty much behind the cameras. So we're basically just watching the interview, right? So like a lot of us very cheekily like took our phones out and started like taking pictures of her. She sees us.
Oh,
She acknowledged us and then gave us the wait a minute. As soon as the interview was over, she came over and talked to us, said hi, took pictures, the whole nine.
oh,
Wonderful
nice.
human being. Wasn't put off by us like sneaking pictures and shit in the interview area. She was actually excited about it and excited to come talk to us and everything. Wonderful, wonderful human being. So sweet. And by the way, this may sound weird, but she smells phenomenal.
Vince, tell me you're a creep without telling me you're a creep.
When I gave her, I'm like whatever perfume she uses is one of the best perfumes I've ever smelled. Like that scent has stuck with me. It's this like floral but vanilla scent.
Vince
And
has
I'm like,
probably never washed that shirt and just goes to it, and then just puts
no,
it back.
I have. I have watched it. No, I haven't. Yes, I have. No, I like seriously. I almost wanted to ask her what her perfume. Like it really stuck out in the moment. I almost wanted to ask her what her perfume was because I was like, wow, this is like amazing. So yeah, I don't care. I think I'm a creep. I don't give a shit. She smells good. It's a good thing.
That's true. That's true. Just gotta bust your balls, buddy.
Yeah. So another film, like I said, there's a Gran Turismo, which is based on the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Never expected this to get a release, but it's by Neil Blomkamp, the guy who did, District 9 and Chappie and other things. So I as much as like I remember the really crappy Need for Speed movie. So I worry about and like video games have a hard time getting translated to film. But you got David Harbour, Jimon Hansu, Orlando Bloom, Thomas Kretschmann. Like it's got a decent cast. So
God, Orlando Bloom, where's he been for the last?
I know
10
he's
years?
kind of been taking some time off, but so we'll see. Let's see if there's anything else coming out. I mean, there's also a lot of film. Craven the Hunter is supposed to come out this year. I thought that got pushed back. So apparently we're supposed to get Craven the Hunter in October.
Okay.
I am worried as hell about that film, mainly because
absolutely.
Sony hasn't done anything right as far as it goes. And
Yeah,
to me, Craven the Hunter is Spider-Man's greatest villain. He is my favorite by far. The Last Hunt storyline is one of the absolute best comic lines for Spider-Man ever. So I'm worried about this one, but obviously I'm going to go see it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Oh, I didn't know this either. They remade Exorcist again.
Oh, okay.
Leslie Odom Jr. and Ellen Burstyn. All right. That might be worth seeing. Saw 10 with the return of Tobin Bell.
Ooh.
Is that you or me making that noise?
What noise?
Sounds like Discord, but my Discord is closed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Mine's not up, so I don't know.
I know. So yeah, I don't know what to think about this. I don't know. We'll see. Dune Part 2. I thought again that was next year, but apparently it's going to be this year. November. Wait a minute, there's a Hunger Games movie coming out? What the hell?
What? I didn't hear anything about that.
What? It's a prequel film?
Oh, I did hear about that. But I didn't know it was coming out that soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that Wonka film is coming out this year, too. It's a young Willy Wonka film with Timothée Chalamet as Wonka. Like it's going to be like kind of his building to getting the factory kind of thing. Like his life.
Yeah,
it has
backstory.
Yeah, it has Rowan Atkinson in it. So that alone is worth watching it.
Love Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, I love that dude. Keegan-Michael Key's also in it. Olivia Colman. So great cast. And like, let's be honest, Timothy Chalamet looks like a young Gene Wilder, so I'm okay with this.
Mm.
And Paul King's good. I like Paul King, so we'll see how it goes. Looks like there's a remake or even maybe a modern retelling of The Color Purple. I don't know how that works. As a modern retelling? Wait, what?
Yeah.
How do you do that as a modern retelling? Oh, not modern. New retelling.
Ah, okay.
Oh, it's okay. They're redoing the musical for the film. So it's going to be a redoing of the musical. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Let's see. Is anything else that's coming out that looks interesting? What is beeping? What the shit is that?
I don't know. I don't hear it on my
I
end.
don't know. It's weird. It's in my headphones, but I don't know what it is. No idea.
Mm.
Oh, okay. There's one more. This one does. It may or may not come out this year, but I do believe that it's worth talking about. So it was what 10 years between Avatar 1 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nothing. That's a leap year to this film. Chicken Run: Dawn of the Nugget. We are getting a sequel to Chicken
What?
Run, ladies and gentlemen, and I could not be more excited. Thandie Newton, who, by the way, has not done a lot either recently. Zachary Levi, David Bradley, Nick Mohammed. Yes, please, for love of God, give me a Chicken Run sequel. Could not be more excited.
Wow. Because God, when did that movie come out? Like
15, 20 years ago, maybe even longer. I think it
yeah,
might have even been 90s.
maybe like that's what I was kind of thinking, like late '90s when that came out.
Trying to see if there's anything else that's going to be released. There's a lot of like to be determined, so they may not come out this year. So I don't really want to talk about them. I'm trying to see if there's anything that's like
Yeah.
really worth talking about though. Uh, this one might be interesting. I don't know if it's going to come out again this year, but it's Ridley Scott. Is directing a movie about Napoleon with Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon. That could be
Jacques
good.
Jacques Jacques Queen Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Joaquin Phoenix as he's more known as.
Is it Joaquin or is it Joaquin? I don't know.
What? Joaquin. I've always
Is
heard
it?
Joaquin.
I've heard both. I don't know.
I don't know it. But yeah, Chicken Run came out in 2000. So 23 years.
There you go. We're getting a new Peter Pan film. Possibly this year, maybe next year. See if there's anything else here. What the fuck? A movie called Pussy Island? Directed by Zoe Kravitz?
Okay. How many cats are on this island?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing much of anything else. There's gonna be a Tetris movie. How?
Okay.
Taron Egerton is in it, and Toby Jones. What the?
Out of all the video games in the history of video games, do you make a Tetris movie?
I could see if you made one about the story of the game, how the game was made, and all that controversy over like the Russian release and how all of a sudden you couldn't get it anymore. Like, and if you have a copy of the Russian version, that like it's super
Okay.
worth money. Like you could do that, but that's not what this is. This is a movie. Like I don't. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't know how you do it. It's not about that story. It is about the game as if it was. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like making a centipede game.
That one actually, there's more story there.
Yeah, there's more story to that one, but yeah, I mean that would make a little more sense. Even asteroids, you could tell a better story.
Oh no, this will actually. Okay. This
Okay.
is covering the story behind it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. I was about to say, I'm like, is Tedrick Arrington playing the L block, or the like? What the? No. So okay. All right. It is about that thing. Okay. All in all, 2023 looks to be pretty stacked. Looks to be a good year. Um, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
We have a lot to watch. If you have a Regal Cinemas near you, I highly recommend you get the unlimited pass. It's just $18 a month. It's well worth it. You will also get a big discount on your concessions, so you will make your money back and then some. Trust me. If you see two films by yourself, you've already made your money back and then some. So definitely do that. That being said, this is kind of a longer one, but we've had a lot to cover. We also want to talk about the future of the podcast and the channel as a whole. So I've talked about this before. I'm going to be starting to shoot IRL videos, like travel vlog style stuff this weekend. I've been trying to go for the last 2 weeks, but now I'm going to finally go. This weekend, I'll be going to SeaWorld, shooting something there. I'll be going hiking. There's a couple trails here. I got Pensacon coming up in February. Throughout the year, I'm going to try to hit as many places as I can to do these kind of videos. But Kel and I have been discussing some other ideas, and I'm going to let Kel kind of take it from here because we seem to be on the exact same page, so it seems to be the right thing for us to do. So let's start with the movie one. Why don't you talk about the movie one?
All right. One idea that I had that I talked to Vince about, and he pretty much had the same idea without us talking about it, was that we think that at least maybe once a month, we are going to have a watch party on the podcast. And we're going to watch some of those great, amazing, cheesy B movies that we all love watching on late night cable and everything like that and making fun of it. Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, where we're just going to rip into the movies and stuff like that. I mean, I know all me and my friends used to do it when we were younger,
Yeah.
which I'm sure everyone else has too. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And to get people in the chat talking about it too, that'll be great. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then we had a couple other ideas that
on the movie day, I want to talk about this too. Something else we'll probably end up doing, because the cheesy B movies, we're going to get ones that are kind of like public domain so we can actually show them on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
But something else we're going to probably want to do is look at more modern films and do those watch party style. But those will be, obviously, we can't show the film, but we can talk as we watch it, discussing it. So maybe we could do like, Jason, how's it going? We could do like breakdowns of film. We'll get more. So on those days, we'll get more people involved. We'll bring in like my brother Jason. We'll bring in people from the PWC. We'll bring in guests, and we'll kind of like break down the cultural significances of like watching Avengers Endgame or watching like Avatar or something, Top Gun Maverick, stuff like that. So sometimes like we'll also do that, but we're gonna mainly focus on doing like the fun, just ripping to shreds those B movies. There's nothing better than the Gamera, and stuff like that. So yeah, for sure. And then go ahead.
Yeah. Then the other thing we thought about, like one other hobby of Vince and mine that we both love with a passion is cooking. So we thought about maybe bringing in some cooking videos for you guys. Um, try to have like maybe some geek culture themed recipes. It's like for Christmas, my daughter got me a Ghostbusters cookbook, and there's a lot of recipes in there I'm looking forward to try it, including the big Twinkie cake.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, of course, have a background in cooking. I was able to compete in the world's largest culinary competition, took silver medal. Not that I'm bragging, but I am. Um, but also I'm big into food art. So I also want to do like watermelon and pumpkin carving and different things. There's a lot of stuff we want to do to kind of bring more eyes to the channel and create a more community driven. My brother will also once he has he just mentioned he has the Heroes Feast D&D cookbook. My brother's also a really good cook, so we can do it as a 3-way thing, almost competition style, but in our own homes. Um, we can so that'll be something we can do. Oh, he also has a Harry Potter cookbook. Nice.
Cool.
There's a Deadpool cookbook I just recently saw that I want to get.
Hmm.
That would be interesting and fascinating. So there's a
My
lot of
daughter
them.
almost picked that one up for me, but went with the Ghostbusters instead.
Yeah. I'll get the Deadpool one,
There you go.
and I'll get a couple others too. We'll all look into them
My
because there's
wife
tons
also,
of them. There's a Star Wars one. There's tons.
yeah,
Um,
my wife for Christmas, my daughter got her the Supernatural cookbook.
that one I'm excited for.
Yes.
I'm actually that's something else that maybe we ought to do. Maybe we ought to like I don't know if we can do it once a week, but watch an episode of Supernatural. Like go start from season 1, episode 1, and
Uh-huh.
then just go through all 15 seasons. I still have not watched the final 7 episodes of Supernatural. I just
Oh,
can't.
dude.
I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. And somebody stupidly spoiled the fucking Dean's death
Oh
on YouTube for me.
no.
Like they actually played the actual clip, and I'm like, and
Oh.
I hate it. I hate it so much. But I need to
Yeah.
see it in context. So like,
Mm-hmm.
but like after the pandemic, when the show got postponed and there was 7 episodes left, and they came back, I could not bring myself to watch it. So I'm thinking I had just started recently like rewatching the series. I thought maybe if I go through the entire thing straight through, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm kind of thinking that we should do it as a almost like a supernatural podcast where we watch an episode and talk about it as we watch it. So that would be like an hour-long episode where because it's like what each episode's like what 45 minutes.
Something like that,
If
yes.
on Netflix goes no commercials, it's like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it for 15 minutes afterwards and of course discuss it along. I'd love to do that as well. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I am so game for that. Love
Get
that
your wife
show.
involved if she likes the show.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Jason is the same way with Supernatural, so I think we get him involved as well. We can, I think I have an I think he could access my Netflix if he doesn't already have it. But there's also like Netflix watch along.
Yeah.
So we can do it that way, and then again do it as a podcast. So we'll figure out a time when we can all get together and do that. That's something I want to do. So, but yeah, Supernatural Cookbook. I'm definitely wanting to dive into that.
Yeah.
Um,
They teach you how to make pigs in a poke.
nice.
Yes.
That's from the Tuesday episode, isn't it?
Yes.
The Groundhog's Day. Oh, it's actually called Groundhog's Day. The episode.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tuesday, pig in a poke.
and that was what the video I found on YouTube, by the way, which it was. They played the death scene, and then Sam woke up, and it was in the heat of the moment playing, and he was back in that day. Because at a convention recently, both Jensen and Jared kind of dropped that they weren't done. And they kind of dropped that they want to come back. And what the fans want to see a 16th season. So they kind of teased that. So Jason has a Netflix account. Perfect. But we can do like a watch along, watch an episode live. Obviously, we can't show the episode, but we can talk about it as we're watching it. Maybe I can get away with playing the audio a little bit, like low.
Yeah, very, very low.
Because it's hard to copyright that. Like, it's hard to get a copyright claim on that until the song. No, because then once it's like, what is it, halfway through season 2 when they started getting like real licensed music?
Yeah.
Once that, no, we can't do that. So no, it wouldn't be audio from that, but it'll be us talking about it. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So we'll talk in Discord about that. But that's something. So we want to hear from you guys. What else would you like to see from us besides the cooking stream, besides the, B movie, MSC3K, besides the Supernatural fan watch? What would you like to see from us from there? I'm going to be doing, like I said, the IRL videos coming up.
And keep in mind, there are no stupid suggestions.
No, not at
We,
all.
we will take everyone to heart, and we'll talk, see how it can work, and everything like that, and try our best to accommodate to get you guys what you want to see.
Exactly. Because again, at the end of the day, that's what this entire channel, the entire network, TGN Networks, is about, the community and what you guys want to see. So we want to hear from you. What would you think that you want to see? And also, what would your friends want to see? Because we want to bring more people in. We want to make this a very large community at the end of the day. Because the more people we can bring in, the more people we can get away from toxicity and build a stronger unit together. And that is truly what we want to do. This isn't just about Kel and I hearing ourselves talk and not we're not trying to get famous or anything like that. It isn't about our egos. It is about building a community that we didn't have growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I understand now, nerd is chic, but it's still not 100%. And even within that, there's a lot of infighting because of toxic fans and stuff like that. We want to have a place where people can feel safe, feel welcome, feel like they can be themselves. So we want to hear what you want to see, what you want to do, what you want us to do, and we want to learn from you guys. So please hit us up, be it TikTok, be it Instagram, be it YouTube, be it Twitch, be it Facebook, wherever. Just hit us up. Let us know your thoughts. Drop a comment somewhere, what you want to see. And again, no idea is stupid. We'll take all into account and we'll try to make it work. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the first episode of 2023, episode 41 in the books. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, please follow. If you could be ever so generous to give us a subscription, that'd be great. If you have Amazon Prime, you can use a Prime subscription, make Jeffrey Bezos pay for it. If you're over on YouTube, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live. If you are on Facebook, please hit that thumbs up button. Please follow us there as well. We greatly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am, of course, SuperBeard. He is Kel McCosplay. As the great Kevin Pereira says, kisses, hugs, and belly rubs. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys next week.